guys, welcome back to some Gilded Guardians. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the tier 7 gear and overall the impact that it's having on this game is kind of crazy, and also looking at how difficult it is to go ahead and craft these tier 7 gear. So I'm going to try to make it a little bit easier. So the first thing we want to look at before we get into the crafting itself is the inventory. So overall, when you're starting to eliminate some of the tier 6 gear, you can see we have advanced chests, you can see we have basic chests, and then of course the humble chests are coming out of the further, or really the very end stages of the adventure mode. Absolutely, you have to farm these every single day without miss if you ever want to tier or really craft some of this tier 7 gear. So these advanced chests, I want to go ahead and use them, and there we go. So they are giving us tier 7 right here, our refined lumber. Absolutely going to make it easier. So as you're recycling that tier 6, I think this is probably going to be 6, or no, this is wool. So overall, you want to get those gold chests, which again, they just come from the recycling aspect. And then all of these are just going to continue to give us more really stuff to build. Now, when it comes to getting this and really building this out, you're going to focus on your primary damage dealer first. For me personally, it is Leah in here, meaning as you can see, I have built and crafted a bunch of different staffs, which I want to look at in just a minute. So looking here, there are 3 different levels. So we know this was true with tier 6. It rings true with tier 7. So you'll notice right here, the domain bonus is 18, meaning this is a tier 2. Looking right here, the domain bonus is a 15. This is a tier 1. And unfortunately, I have not seen a tier 3, but I believe the tier 3 bonus, or the boost right here, is a 24%. Now, if you remember correctly, looking at some of the gear, and I want to hop over and look at some of the crafting gear, but when we start looking at some of the gear, right here, this 15% was the top. So the tier 6, the 15% domain bonus is the very top. That was the tier 3. We had what, 10, 12, and I think 15. I think that was right. But looking at this, that was the top. Now, for tier 7 gear, that 15% is the bottom of where you're at. You have the 15, you have the 18, and then the 24. And building this out. Now remember, when it comes to refining this specific gear, you only get to change 1 secondary stat. That is right. There is only one. Now the big thing between this is if you get a 15 piece, or if you get an 18 piece, or a 24, the higher that it is, the higher the main stat is going to go. Even we got lucky with this one right here, which you can see. We have crit, we have Sola Pierce, and then we have crit damage rating. You can change these out for a lot of different stats. And if we go through here, you can see right here is magic power. There's a lot of different stats that are available. Magical defense, depending on the gear, which I know there's a couple spreadsheets to really use to maximize and really min-max some of this based on the heroes. Because when you start looking at the bonuses, when you think of an 18% stat boost on 44,000 attack, or even these secondary stats, that is massive. That is a really, really big stat boost when it comes to building out this gear. And of course, when we start getting into the gear, it is very expensive. So looking down here, so what I'm thinking is right here is an 18. We have a 15 right here, a 15 and a 15. So we have 3 of these that are just the absolute baseline. They are the 15. So those 3 I'm going to go ahead and use. Now, of course, it is fusion. So within the fusion itself, you want to make sure that you're going in here. And I believe, and it doesn't show me which staff this is out of here. You know what? I don't want to make a mistake, and I don't want to use the 115 or the 118 staff that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw this on one of my guardians, just kind of as a placeholder down here. So we can hop in here. I'm going to throw the staff right on here. And again, this is because I don't want to accidentally use it. So that is our 15. There is our 18. And there we go. So we got the 18 on the hero itself. So looking at our crafting, we'll go ahead and we'll fuse our last 3. Boom. Hopefully it's going to be something good. It's an 18 again, which of course the first stat, the magical power, we can go ahead and adjust. But you'll also notice that with the domain that we have, not really one that I'm looking for. I believe there's only 1 or 2 guardians that actually use this. So I'm hoping, and I'm still trying to get a Solus. Now, resource salvage. So we got some of those resources back. But in here, I do want to go ahead and use all of my crafting energy. Now, you do get, if you have the energy card, 1 free energy. Then you get 4 resets. Now, the 4 resets, of course, this is really 2-pronged when it comes to building out this gear. Number one, getting additional copies of gear is not only time consuming, but when you're doing all of your resources in here, when you're getting all of your crafting energy, it is giving you a crazy amount of experience, which is exactly what we want to get out of here. So you are not only getting gear, but you're also getting a ton of experience out of this mode. Now you'll notice that we can do this 4 times, 80 energy. We also do have this crafting potion that was actually free today, so we can continue in here. Now, the only downside is you can see there is a cooldown to the bag. We don't want to overbuy the energy until we get to the point of the cooldown of the bag. So looking over here at our inventory, we're going to continue to go ahead and use all of these. I think this is going to be more, yep, of that. We have 4,000 of these. Now, this is the reason why I had said before, and long before the tier 7 was introduced, just keep saving all of those resources, keep saving all of that, all of those resource chests, because we knew what was coming. So right here, we have enough to go ahead and craft one more of these. And I'm hoping, forging a piece of gear, that we get a lucky roll. Oh, it passed right by it, and there we go. So it is going to be another epic one, which means through the fusion, we're going to have to wait to see exactly what we get. I did craft one piece right here, which of course is our tanking gear. I'm going to have to build up a couple more. And of course, looking here, guys, this gear is going to take a crazy, crazy amount of time to go ahead and build, to go ahead and refine. Now, the other big thing is when you look at stats. So when you start looking at some stats, and I'm wondering if we do have a few in here, the basic stats of where they are. So right here, this is an 18, which has 21. You can see this one, even though literally this is, again, an 18 at 21, this is an 18 at 22. So the starting stats on this one is a little bit higher, even though they are both at that 18. And then if we do get some higher ones, I believe it is going to be much higher. Now, looking in conjunction to where we're seeing the tier 7 in relationship to really where we have these tier 6s. So thinking of even looking in some of here, right here is a tier 12, we're at 53. This one's at 58. It is a 6 versus a 12 for the enlightenment or the enrichment within the staff itself, meaning when you get the tier 7, and I'm going to have to continue building these out, probably 18 better, you are going to get way higher attack stats out of here, because even thinking here with Tarvos is most of the heroes, including Leah, including Tarvos, including a majority of the heroes, are based entirely on attack. So the higher this attack is, even here again, 58 to 53, the higher the attack is, the more potent the skills and abilities that these heroes possess are really going to be, meaning you want to craft this gear and really focusing on the damage aspect first. So if you're looking at rangers, or the agility gear, if you're looking at the casting gear, and the reason I'm doing the casting gear is of course because of Leah right here to 15. This was a very, very strong staff with the crit damage rating and the crit rating with the higher attack. But again, it is going to far eclipse the tier 7, is going to far eclipse where the tier 6 is at, because even looking at some of these, at a 58 at 6, this is only a 92 at 15. Yes, that's going to make a really big difference for where this hero is. And at this point, honestly, again, looking at the 15% soulless cap, I've been trying to get another soulless one. I know I could put another tier 7 in there, but I wanted to try to get one of these essentially higher. And even looking, remember, we can refine some of these abilities. Even right here, we have 3,700. I'm going to refine the magical power. We can only do it once per item. So there we go. So win epic. I want to try again. I want to see if we can get, or if it's just going to stay in magical defense and magical power. I think that's kind of where it's going to be stuck. There's our crit rating. That's what we want. So I want to keep that. So there's crit rating, there's damage. So if we actually built this one up quite a bit, even without having the bonus on here, this staff, the attack will go much, much higher than what we're seeing here, giving her more skills than we're seeing. And even looking at the crit rating, 11 and 54, we have 13 and 58. So hopefully even that, though, with the crit rating level 2, so this was actually leveled up twice. This is actually a pretty big build, because of course that's 13, this is 11. So if I get 1 or 2 levels on this, the crit rating will be much higher in this one, and the attack will scale a lot higher than we have on the 15 right there. So guys, kind of a very quick guide again. When it comes to forging up this gear, it's never going to end. There's no point. And even looking at a majority of my tanks, looking at a majority of my agility heroes, Some of them have tier 5, some of them here have tier 6. Most of them, well, none of them at this point have tier 7. So even when we think since the patch has come out, it is taken a crazy amount of time to even get what, like the 7 tier 7 wands that I've already gotten. But overall, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the gear. And as always, thank you guys for watching.